Are you looking for an all-around amazing 4-star character that can rival even 5 stars for DPS? Are you looking for a character with insane attack speed, energy recharge, and area of effect attacks? Are you looking for someone that can mine ore around the map? Well, this is your guy. Even against enemies that are immune to electricity, Razor can dominate them with his insane physical DPS, allowing him to take out pretty much any enemy in the game, regardless of shield or elemental affinity. Razor is a jack of all trades that can take out any boss in the game with ease, can take out any group of enemy unless, well, they're flying around, but even then, he's still a lot better than other melee characters in the game. Let's talk about Razor and why he is so damn good. Hey everyone, MTast here, and this is my level 74 out of 80 Razor. And I think I'm actually going to be replacing D-Luke with him because he is so damn good. Now, I just maxed out his Constellation, and that is where a lot of the damage is coming from. But even if you get just one Constellation, if you can get 2 Constellations, he gets extremely valuable. If you can get to 4, he becomes incredible. And if you get all 6, boys, Razor he's a 5-star. In my opinion, he is an absolute 5-star worthy character. He is better than most 5 stars at 0 Constellation. Even halfway in, he is an absolute gamer. So let's talk about it. Why is he so good? The one thing is accessibility, and I wanted to talk about that first. So in Paimon's shop, you can actually buy Razor straight up for 34 star glitter. Now, this is quite a bit of star glitter, and if you are a free-to-play player, it's going to take you into the later ranks. I was asking my Twitch chat, how many star glitter do you have? People were level 37, and they said they had 32. Someone said that they were level 32 and had 44 because they kept getting repeats. And it's going to depend a lot on your luck. But I would guess once you start getting closer to AR 35, AR 40, there's a good chance you would have enough star glitter to get him once. And that's great because you would have a very good DPS because even at base Constellation, I think Razor is very strong. And the ability to output damage with Razor, he's got a couple little tricks up his sleeve that I want to show you that make him good. Just as a base DPS character, no Constellations, just picking him up from the shop might be worth it for you. Now, if you've got a bunch of other characters with higher Constellations, maybe you got really lucky, you might want to consider focusing on them first, especially as a free-to-play player. But I think that if you're one of those players that maybe did 1 or 2 crystal top-ups, like this Leviathan, you actually might have enough that you could definitely buy him, and you're not even going to be sweating. And so that is something to think about. If you have spent a little bit of money, you're getting a bunch of star glitter, Razor is great. Now, if you have a couple Constellations and you can buy him and get another Constellation, it starts to ramp up very quickly. Picking up an elemental orb that he's generating pretty much constantly, 10% more damage. You get his next Constellation, and enemies with 30% or less HP, you're critting extra 10% of the time. That's incredible. Now, this is just a boost to the overall damage, but Bite is, it's amazing. When casting Claw and Thunder, enemies hit will have their defense decreased by 15% for 7 seconds. Well, guess what? Razor does a bunch of physical damage, so you are getting a huge boost to your DPS when you do that. Sharpened Claws, once again, leveling up your ability, but Lupus is insanity. Every 10 seconds, Razor's sword charges up, causing the next attack to do 100% of Razor's attack as electro damage. Great. But on top of this, it's this right here. When you hit them with that attack, every 10 seconds, he's going to generate an extra electric sigil. And that's why he becomes bonkers. So with Claw and Thunder, which you're going to be using a whole bunch, every time you press it, you're going to do some damage and get an electric sigil. Now, you can get up to 3 of these, but between your basic attacks and this attack, you're going to stack them up very quickly. Now, when you hold down the button, you're going to do a charged attack, slamming the ground, but you're then going to convert those sigils into energy. Well, my friends, that's beautiful because with the Hunger perk, when Razor's energy is below 50%, it increases your recharge by 30%. Which means that you're going to be spamming your Lightning Fang, which is probably one of the best ultimate Q abilities in the game. It's going to do a bit of electro damage while you're attacking, but it increases Razor's attack speed. This is the big one. This is the insanity. It also interrupts, it increases Razor's resistance to interruption. In some floors of the Spiral Abyss where there's ice crystals hitting you and different things, he just keeps attacking and he just keeps destroying everything. And that is why it's so great. Now, if you look at the attack speed bonus, when you're leveling it up, if you've got some constellations, you're getting 34, 35, 39% attack speed boost. Now, attack speed is one of the most valuable things in the game for overall DPS. It's not very easy to get attack speed, and so throwing it into his kit while doing some elemental damage, while doing some additional attack damage based on your attack, it makes Razor absolutely nuts. Now, this physical damage bonus right here is super powerful because this is another multiplier on his stats. And so whether you're going for crit on your artifacts, whether you're going for increased attack, he's going to hit like a truck. But because of that, I said this in the Clee video, typically on the Goblet you'd want like electric damage or hydro damage or whatever depending on your element. But in the case of Razor, because he's already getting a multiplier for physical, you can go with attack and you're still going to do a lot of damage. You could also go for physical damage here and that would be incredible as well. But it's a little bit easier to kit out Razor than some other characters. Now, early on, Gladiator and Berserker I recommend for any character because it's just a nice boost to damage. And because you need to level up and ascend so many characters, it's very easy to amass a lot of these artifacts and most likely get a good enough set to make a character strong. But there are some other sets in the game that are really good, even if you are maxing out the Gladiator set. If this wielder has a Claymore, it increases their normal attack damage by 35%. So you could max out the Gladiator set and you would have a very good set, right? The Gladiator set is incredible for him. Bloodstained Chivalry is very strong. Physical damage is increased by 25%, and after defeating an opponent, it increases your charged attack damage by 50%. And it reduces the stamina cost to 0. Now that means that he can have some amazing area of effect. If you're in the middle of stacking some sigils, your ultimate isn't up, hopefully you can crush an enemy and then just spin to win and destroy everything else. The only thing is when you are in your ultimate ability, you don't have access to your charged attack, and so there is going to be downtime on something like this. For me, I would rather have the full Gladiator set, but this is a good one as well, depending on how you want to play the character. So one of the strengths of Razor is he's good against every element. I kind of showed that at the beginning, but you can take out any boss in the game, any enemy in the game. There's never a situation where I'm like, I wish I didn't have Razor here. Where, with other characters, that might be the case. If you're fighting a Pyro Slime, Diluc, or Klee, they're not as good because they have so much fire built into their kit, right? But with Razor, even when he's using his ultimate ability, there's a ton of physical damage being output. Now, his E ability, yeah, that's going to suck against some electric slimes. But even if you're hitting them with that electro attack, you're reducing their defenses for your melee physical attack. So it's still kind of a win. And so I just want to show you how good he is against a target with sustained DPS here. So you can kind of hit them. I've got a sigil already. I can hit him with another one. I've got 2 sigils, right? I've got this energy. And now he's just this wild man, area of effect attacking. I can keep stacking these sigils. And I'm going to have my cooldown on the basic attack one soon. But you can just leave Razor on the field forever. And his ability to juggle enemies is insane. And that's one thing I wanted to talk about too. Is any sort of CC in the game where an enemy can't hit you. Actually, let me do this first. Get a little bit of energy after the fight. If you can knock up enemies, if you can stop them from A, popping their shields like Fatui enemies. If you can knock them in the air so they can't attack you. Like those stupid flowers, right? They're pretty annoying. Because he's a Claymore user, and with his attack, he does this slam right here. Bop. It knocks up everything. It feels like it just knocks up stuff, and he can ragdoll them. But then when you use his ultimate ability, and you increase his attack speed, it just escalates. To the point where he can juggle up enemies and keep them in the air, seemingly forever. And so, that is super valuable. So if I was to pop that up, and I was going to go like this and send them flying, I could move in with Razor, I could slam down, do a bunch of damage, but also, while they're floating, I can pretty much hit them the entire time. I don't know if it's the angles of his swing or why exactly he feels so much more effective than other characters, but I think it's because he kind of, if you watch his attacks, he kind of goes, you know, at diagonals when he's hitting, and for whatever reason, it seems to clip enemies in a way that other characters don't. And I've noticed that it's very effective in domains, it's very effective in the Spiral Abyss, and that's one of the reasons why I've fallen in love with Razor. He just seems like he can do a little bit more with that Claymore. And you know what I'm saying? Right? I locked him up, and even without his ultimate, it seems like he can help out just a bit more. Will he whiff sometimes? Absolutely. But I think that this character is just great. And look at this. You can just kind of juggle enemies and CC them the whole time, and I feel like it's so valuable. Now, another reason why I think Claymore users, period, are very good is because of the prototype Amanus. This is a pretty damn accessible weapon. You get a Claymore prototype from the little sword quest in the Dudagapa Canyon. I don't know what it's called. But the sword in the 3 barriers, right? You can also get another one from one of the shops. I think in Liyue, you can buy a Claymore prototype. But this can also drop from bosses. So long term, mathematically and hypothetically, you'll be able to max out the refinement of this before any other weapon in the game. And that's really exciting because it does have base attack, which is great. It's got, you know, it's a 4-star weapon, so its stats are going to be overall really solid. But being able to refine it and get this huge burst of damage every 15 seconds, I mean, you're going to one-bang enemies with this once you max refine it. Now, if you're a whale, you got a bunch of money, you got a Wolf's Gravestone, go for it. Absolutely, don't even worry about it. Like, if you want to use something different, that's on you. But I think the accessibility of Razor and having this weapon available, pretty damn easy, that's a big bonus for making him valuable. Now, Woven Sprint, this seems like a small thing, but this is one of the biggest reasons why I think he's good. It decreases all party member sprinting stamina costs by 20%. And when you're in the Spiral Abyss and dodging all the time, you're going to be sprinting all the time, having essentially 20% more stamina is a big deal. Because many enemies, as you push into the later things, they'll do 80% of your HP in one hit. They will crush you. And if you're running out of stamina, you're not going to survive. And so having this bonus built into his kit is honestly incredible. There's no food buffs in the Spiral Abyss, right? There's no eating food, there's no healing like that. You gotta dodge, you gotta run around, you gotta stay safe. And so he's one of the only characters that can really do this and do damage, and he just kicks major butt. If you get D-Luke, he uses a great sword too. Absolutely incredible. If you get a Shang-Yun and you get some Constellations, absolutely incredible. If you got our Beidou, she could be great too. Honestly, at this point, every character in the game is viable, but I've really fallen in love with Razor as someone who does consistent, great DPS. He's always got his Lightning Fang up, and I just feel like he's got that extra little bit if you're looking for a cool DPS character. Is he a bit selfish? Yeah, he can be. He's one of those characters you can leave out on the field, and maybe that's what you want. As a free-to-play player, you don't have the ability to level up 900 different people to level 80. You don't have time to get all their talents leveled up. And so if you want to invest in one character, and you want them to be on the field doing awesome damage all the time, maybe Razor's your guy. Anyways, that's it for me. I really love him. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section below, but that's pretty much it for me. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you soon, my friends. Bye-bye.